Following the return of Vanderbilt and looking really good in that return, not missing a beat on defense, bringing great energy to their team, and overall looking like the guy that we remember back before he got hurt, many Laker fans now questioning what to do with Rui Hachimura. After all, he didn't play in their last game, and that opened up more playing time for not only Vanderbilt, but also Dorian Finney-Smith, a guy that many people, myself included, think should be a member of their starting lineup in favor of Rui Hachimura. I mean, between the fit on defense, the equally if not better 3-point shooting, higher volume 3-point shooting, and simply doing a bunch of things better that Hachimura doesn't, making the little plays in the court and the winning plays in the court, especially on defense, I think it would be a better fit for them. And then with Vanderbilt now being back, getting minutes off the bench, and along with the emergence of a guy like Max Christie, and not to mention a guy that they can't even find playing time for anymore like Cam Reddish, that's quite a bit of wing depth and maybe making Rui Hachimura a bit replaceable, especially when you factor in that contract. After all, he does have the most tradable contract left on their team. After trading away D'Angelo Russell, their only remaining contract in that $15 to $20 million range, or at least salary, is Rui Hachimura. And if they're looking to make a somewhat big trade, they would have to trade him to make that kind of trade. And with that being said here, has the emergence, or rather recovery of Vanderbilt, albeit only one game here, along with the addition of Dorian Finney-Smith, made Rui Hachimura a bit dispensable? We'll talk about that and much more throughout today's video. But before we get too far into it, let's go over our game day picks with Underdog Fantasy, the best way to get in on the NBA action this season. And if you're a new sign up, you can pick Kevin Durant to have higher than 0.5 points later tonight. So yeah, take advantage of that free pick. But then for my picks, for pick number 1, I got Anthony Davis having higher than 0.5 assists during the first quarter. That's my go-to, it pretty much hits every game and I'm going to keep rolling with it till it doesn't. Then for pick number 2, I got Max Christie having higher than 0.5 rebounds during the first quarter. A really good and underrated rebounder, and coming off an 8-rebound game, so I think he can grab at least one during the first quarter. Then for my third and final pick, I got Domantas Sabonis making at least one 3-point shot. I mean, the guy's leading the entire league in 3-point percentage, along with making a 3-point shot in 10 straight games now, so I think that one's pretty much a lock. But if you're looking to make your own picks, then be sure to check out Underdog Fantasy, and don't forget to use code JSM to get your free pick, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you make a deposit. But now getting back to our topic, and again, with Rui Hachimura, should they trade him, should they keep him, definitely a good debate and argument here for both, but we're going to talk about it, what they maybe should lean towards, and then what they might be able to get in return for him, if they're lucky, and what they maybe should try to trade him for. But to begin, we'll take a look at what he's done for their team so far this season, both in regard to the good and the positive impact he's made for them, but also the bad and how he can improve upon what he's done, and what they can maybe improve upon from him through a trade. Overall though, currently averaging 12.2 points per game, 5.3 rebounds per game, 1.5 assists per game, about 1 steal per game, shooting 49% from the field, 41% from 3, being fairly efficient and effective offensively, but simply lacking a bit defensively. And don't get me wrong, there's nothing particularly bad about that. I mean, 12.2 points per game for about a 4th or 5th option is definitely not bad at all. And then with the 41% 3-point shooting, that's not bad. My only complaint about that would be the fairly low volume 3-point shooting. If you're playing 32 minutes per game and primarily with LeBron and or Anthony Davis on the court, you want to be attempting more than about 3.5 3-point shots per game, especially if you're shooting 41%. That's my only complaint about that, and it's much more about the defense and rebounding at times too, along with simply the energy and commitment to playing defense. Unfortunately, Hachimura is not a good defender, not a switchable defender, not really a good guard defender, not a good perimeter defender in general, and that really does make him limited, especially alongside LeBron James. And well, that to me is where the fit concerns come in. Compared to a guy like Vanderbilt or Dorian Finney-Smith, he is significantly lesser compared to them on defense, not nearly as good on one-on-one defense, help defense, switch defense, or whatever it might be, even commitment on defense, he's definitely below them. And then offensively, while he is more talented offensively, he really doesn't need to be, especially alongside LeBron and AD. What they need beside them is a reliable catch and shoot guy, and Hachimura can be that for them, but again, I wish that he were more comfortable in a high volume catch and shoot role, much like Dorian Finney-Smith can be. You know, maybe not as efficient, not usually compared to Hachimura, but definitely is more willing to take them and make them at a higher rate. I mean, currently is shooting a better percentage than Hachimura, about 43% from beyond the arc right now, and at a higher volume as well, nearly 2 more of them per game. So if we are trying to go with a better fit here, I think it's definitely Dorian Finney-Smith, and that's not really a big knock on Hachimura. He simply can't fill the defensive role that Finney-Smith can. Definitely not his versatile compared to him on defense, and then with that catch and shoot 3-point shooting role, they're about equal, and if anything, Dorian Finney-Smith can fill it at a higher volume compared to Hachimura. And well, with those being the two big things that they need alongside LeBron and Anthony Davis, then you probably do gotta go with Dorian Finney-Smith. And if you do that, that relegates Hachimura to a bench role, which likely would decrease his minutes per game. Maybe not by that much, but at that point he's probably not finishing games for them, playing less important minutes compared to Dorian Finney-Smith, and then again probably sharing minutes with Vanderbilt coming off the bench too, who might eventually overtake him as well. And well, at that point, you probably do think about trading him. Now, don't get me wrong, I think Hachimura could be effective in a bench role for them. I think it would actually expand his offensive opportunity and offensive ability, taking better advantage of his skill set and allowing him more freedom off the bench. I think that would be good for him, but again, it does kind of decrease his role within the rotation, and what they might need from him could be more with that contract through a trade. That way they could address a bigger need on their team, whether you believe that to be a center, a wing, a point guard, whatever it might be. That might be a better idea and a better option for them to explore through a trade. Now, I'm definitely not saying trade him for anything and simply get rid of him. That's not the case here. That would be a terrible idea in my opinion. And if you are trading him, it's got to be for a good player or players in return. Again, even with him being a bit underwhelming in a few areas, obviously defense, rebounding at times, volume 3-point shooting, at the end of the day here, you can't undervalue that team chemistry and team continuity that he has with their team. I mean, at this point, he's played with guys like LeBron James, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, Jared Vanderbilt, and a few more for about 2 years now, even a bit more at this point, and you really can't take that team chemistry or continuity for granted. Yeah, it might sound good to trade Hachimura, but at the end of the day here, you know that he works, and you might not be too sure about the guy you're trading him for. Unless we're talking about an absolutely perfect fit, which is incredibly rare to find, you're probably not getting a major upgrade unless you are finding that perfect fit. Which again, definitely is not easy to come by. And then in addition to that, you'd be trading Rui Hachimura with draft assets to find that perfect fit. Even if we're talking about a guy like Myles Turner, who I would trade him for, you're talking about trading Hachimura with additional draft compensation and additional salary with him for a potential trade that's not even guaranteed to work. Not only about making the trade happen, but then integrating that player within the rotation and finding the perfect fit for them and trying to replicate what they did on a previous team. Obviously, at the end of the day here, nothing is guaranteed, but I don't think we should completely take Rui Hachimura for granted. And that's coming from somebody that wants to decrease his current role in their team and definitely look to trade him, albeit not trade him for absolutely nothing. With that being said here though, what do you guys think? How do you feel about the outlook of Rui Hachimura for this team? Do you think he should remain with their team, go into a different role in their team, or outright be traded from this team? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. But I think that'll pretty much do it for this one. And if you enjoyed the video, then I'll greatly appreciate it if you dropped a like, subscribe to the channel if you have not already, and hit that notification bell to never miss out when I upload a video. But as always, thank you for watching and have a great day.